Got the link. Howdy, folks. What's going on? This is Outlaw Hatfield back at you one more time. Hey, guys. I've got links out. There's supposed to be others showing up as we go along. So we're going to see what happens. Let's see who's out on the gun channel side real quick here. We have Jonathan's out there. Gary, you're out there. DTP is out there. And, of course, myself. I'm sure Matt's show's still going on, so it's going to take a few minutes for him to get things lined out. Midnight, if you want to, if you can, you've got a link in your email. You can jump in here. And we have Scott and Tina Liberty Cat. Philo's out there. How you doing, Phi? Okay. Well, then he should be in here in a minute. G-Webs has got a link. Clover, Ghost Tactical, Alan, of course. What I wanted to do tonight was just basically have some of the guys that I've done interviews with over the past year, basically, almost a year now, I guess, and not quite. Come in and just have a little discussion between us and find out what they think about the show and how we might be able to improve it, or just whatever. Gary, how are you?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking, sir.
Don't always. So Gary, I got some news for you, buddy. I knocked one of my damn teeth out today.
What the heck did you do that for?
Well, it wasn't done intentionally, believe me. I had a momentary lapse of sanity and walked right into a wall with a vape in my mouth and knocked my damn tooth out.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah.
Ow.
That hurts.
Mm.
So now I'm missing a tooth right in the front of my head. Luckily, it's a bottom tooth and not a top tooth, so it don't look as bad. It's just weird not feeling that tooth where it's supposed to be.
It hurts just thinking about it, man.
Oh, it felt good. Ghost, how you doing, brother?
What's going on? Thanks for having me, Ben.
Hey, brother, you know you're welcome here anytime. Well, like I said, I am waiting on some others to show up. We'll get the show on the road. Ghost, what's new with you? Anything going on?
Just got back. I was on a little vacation with the family last 4 or 5 days, and so yeah, just got back late last night.
Yeah, that gives us something to talk about, by the way. McCoy's only, no Hatfields.
Yeah, that was at Silver Dollar City up in Branson, Missouri. Thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Oh, I loved it, dude. I loved it. So now I need to go up there and just take a drink out of that water fountain and then start yelling, "I'm a Hatfield."
Yeah, make sure you let me know when you do that. I'll go videotape it, see what happens.
That would be wonderful. That would be hilarious, wouldn't it?
That would be funny. I'll give you that much. It'd be funny.
Well, apparently you wasn't too welcome there either. They had a trap set for your butt.
Man, they had a trap set for me, but I am not your average ghost, so I was a little smarter. Unfortunately, I did see some remains of some previous ghostly spirits that were in there, so they did catch a couple of them. But Casper was smart enough to outdo him.
Well, we always have faith in you, Ghost. Always have faith in you. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by the Crazy Scotsman. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right, brother. How you doing?
Oh, well, it's been a day, and an interesting one at that. I'm okay though. I'm kicking around. I don't know if you've heard, but I'm down a tooth. I knocked one of my damn teeth out tonight, or earlier today. So,
Well,
I should tell you right there that you shouldn't
call it good.
So
that's be a warning that you shouldn't vape anymore. If you can't handle it without knocking your tooth out, maybe you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Don't vape and walk at the same time, man.
Yeah, well, that was wasn't so much that I was walking. I just turned around and I didn't realize how close I was to a wall for some ungodly reason. And well, now I'm down a tooth.
And you
So-
said,
Yeah, you
who
gotta
put
watch out for those walls. Those walls sneak up on you, man.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. It's sort of like being out in the woods and running into a tree that you knew was there. Just one of those things. So, Crazy, what's going on with you tonight? Anything new for you?
Not a whole lot, man. Back to work tomorrow, so was off today. So did a little shooting. Didn't take any video today. It was for just kind of a more of a relaxation day. So
Well, actually, tomorrow I'm going to be doing some shooting. I'm heading out to Night Strikes. I'm taking the ARs out there. Might take the 1911 and the shotgun. Just have a little fun. I'm going to get those, get that Savage finally worked out, sighted in. I still hadn't had time to do that and know where to do it up until now. So, Garage Gun's supposed to be meeting us there, so we're going to make a day of it.
cool, man. Yeah, no, I'll be back out shooting Wednesday, and I'll be taking some video Wednesday, but didn't take any today. Today was just a relaxation day and try and blow off a little steam, and
Well, anyway, let's get back on topic here for a minute, guys. It has been almost a year now since I signed up for gun channels. And Ghost, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you sign up about a month ahead of me?
Yeah, I think I signed up in early August, something like that.
So
Maybe late July.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I decided that I was going to have myself a little reunion show tonight. Ghost was actually the first one I did an interview with, and I thought that interview went very well. Ghost, what was your thoughts on it? Did you ever go back and listen to it after it was done?
Yeah, I probably listened to it once or twice more. Not all of it, just bits and pieces of it. But yeah, I thought it went well. I thought you did a good job.
Yeah. The idea behind this when I started it was to get people in here that was involved in YouTube channels or what have you, especially gun guys, and to get people to understand that we are more than just guns. We are people who have other interests, outside of firearms and outside of 2A. It's not what we are, completely about. We have lives, we have jobs, we have families. And we all take the Second Amendment very seriously. We will all and have all fought for our rights to keep our guns. But it's not something that consumes every waking hour of our days like some folks out there would have you believe. Ghost, you in particular, I started shooting when I was very young, and you've said it many times that you didn't really start until you were in the Marine Corps, right?
Yeah, I mean, I probably had shot maybe like a little 22 or something at a summer camp or something, but I really didn't start shooting until I joined the Marines. Yeah.
And what was that experience like, that first shot?
Like in the Marines or like
Yeah.
ever in my life?
And the first time you pulled the trigger on an M4.
It was an M16A2 is what I shot. This was an M16A2. It was pretty outstanding. Like I said, my only experience was a couple times, little summer camps, little 22 rifle or something, and I don't remember much about it. But I can tell you that I was nervous, excited, all those emotions rolled up into one the first time. I pulled that trigger in the Marines, and yeah, it was pretty exhilarating. I'm not gonna lie.
There's nothing like it, is there? And I still get that feeling to this day that when I pulled the trigger the first time on a new gun, or a gun I haven't never ever shot before.
Oh, I'm the same way.
It never gets old, man. It's every time somebody puts a new gun in your hand and you're looking at it and you're thinking, okay, that those emotions start boiling up, and it's like, let's do this, and it never gets old. And yeah, eventually that nostalgia gets out of your system for that particular gun, but the next day if somebody hands something new to you, it's right back. And it's a high for gun guys. If you've never experienced that, then to, I don't see how you can consider yourself a gun person if you don't get excited every time you pick up something new and go shooting it. Because to me, it's just exhilarating. Now, Ghost, what are your other interests outside of the firearms industry, firearms in general?
Sports, basically. I grew up an athlete and played probably 5 or 6 different sports. So I'm watching a baseball game right now. So, baseball, I coach high school baseball and softball. I've coached softball for a lot of years. And my daughter was a college softball player. But yeah, sports, man. I'm a big sports guy.
And like I said, that's what it's all about. Getting to know these people that I have done these interviews with over the past year. And it's not quite been a year, yeah, I know that, but it's finding out that, like Ghost, he has other interests. Gary, what are your some of your other interests outside of the whole firearms thing?
Well, I'm kind of like Ghost now. I wasn't a very good athlete in school, but I always loved sports because my dad was really into sports. So we grew up watching sports on TV together, going to ball games together. Dad played high school football. In fact, he was rather good at it. So I'm sure I was a disappointment not being a great star athlete, but we used to love to talk about that stuff. As in my adult life, the last few years, my major pursuit has been doing genealogy stuff. I've kind of taken over being the family genealogist. I'm not educated in or anything. It's just something that always interested me. So I've been, over the last 20 years or so, been learning everything about my family. I've documented a bunch of stuff on Ancestry. I also participate in a website called findagrave.com where we take pictures of people's cemetery plots and headstones and stuff like that, kind of as a volunteer group. Somebody from clear across the country can request that I go to a cemetery near me and photograph a grave, and I'll do that, and they'll do the same. And I know it's kind of a strange hobby to have. Not everybody would be into that sort of thing, but to me, it's all rather interesting. It's kind of like history. It's looking up things about people and putting together things from the past. And so, in a nutshell, that's one of my big hobbies other than this.
Yeah, well, this takes up a lot of time.
And money.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, and I'm like everybody else. I'm in the process now of looking at expanding my brand. I want to start making actual produced videos a little bit. Summer's here now. I want to get out and do some more fishing. I want to get video of that, and then that's my thing right there. I love to be in nature. I love to be fishing and doing that sort of thing. So I want to put more videos out there with me doing those kind of things. Now I'm no expert fisherman by any stretch of the imagination. My name's not Steve Douglas, unfortunately. And if you don't know who Steve Douglas is, he's got a channel on YouTube. Look him up. He's professional catfish angler, and he is very good. Love the guy. He's just great. Now, Scotsman, I know you're into martial arts, but what are your other hobbies?
So I also shoot bow. That's been one I did for about the last 5-6 years, maybe longer. So compound bow, recurve bow, and I do plan on making some videos here pretty soon on that too, with the weather changing. So hopefully get those back out, get back on the range with those. That and riding bikes, getting up, riding bikes. I actually used to race competition many years back. It's been probably 10 years since I rode in the competition, but I would like to try and get back into that too at some point and get back into competition. I got to get my ass back in shape, but other than that, that's about it, man. Martial arts takes most of my time, as well as obviously the gun world, because that's majority of what I do.
Yeah, well, it must be nice to have a job where you are doing absolutely what you love. I'm sure it has its frustrations as well, though.
It does, but it's still pretty awesome.
Yeah, I could imagine. Well, guys, now let's turn this around for a minute. Let's do this. I'm gonna let y'all ask me questions because that's never been done on this show. Normally, I'm the one asking the questions. You guys have always answered them. So the floor is open. Anybody that's got a question, shoot it out at me. And anybody can start. Gary, Scotsman, Ghost.
All right, fine. I'll start. Damn it. What was the first gun you ever shot, bud?
20 gauge shotgun.
What was it?
I cannot remember the name brand. I was probably 3, 4 years old at the time. My dad actually had to hold up the front of the barrel so that I could actually pull the trigger. And to answer everybody else's next question, yes, I did end up on my ass. But at the same time, I fell in love with shooting at that moment.
Have you ever been through the Gun Channels questionnaire?
Yes, I have actually.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I'm the one to do. I think I was the one that put you through that. But let's say if not, then we can go through it.
No, it was Knives that actually put me through it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Knives actually put me through it. I think it was like the second day I was on there actually, and it came as a bit of a shock. I wasn't expecting any of that, but it's actually a cool questionnaire. And for any of you guys that don't know what he's talking about, just jump on one of the live chats over on Gun Channels at any point in time, and one of the moderators can give you the Gun Channels questionnaire. There's no right or wrong answers. It's just a sort of a get to know you a bit questionnaire, and it's fun. It's that's just something they threw together. I don't even know who came up with that. Who did come up with that? Was it G Whips? Because I'm really not sure who came up with that.
Not 100%.
It's been going on for a while. I want to say it was a combination of like Hottie and Smeggy and Pink and Knives, and a bunch of people kind of collabed on it. I think Sean probably had something to do with it. So
yeah, just all the Gun Channel show regulars over there, and it's a wonderful community over there, guys. If you're not a member, you need to be. They'll take you in. They'll treat you like family. In fact, that's where I met Gary and Ghost, was through Gun Channels. Gary was actually the first person, and there's two first in this room, by the way. Gary was the first person that I ever had a conversation with on Gun Channels, and Ghost was the guy I did the first interview with. So, there's a little history in here from my recent past.
How did you end up on Gun Channels?
You know what? Probably the same way everybody else did. I just kept hearing people talk about Gun Channels and Gun Channels and Gun Channels. And finally I said, okay, I've got to go check this out. And I went over, did the sign up thing, and took the next half hour just trying to figure the site out, how things worked out a little bit, and landed on, I think it was one of Knives' chats. And they put the link out there, and I was like, oh, well, this is a Hangouts link. So I clicked on the link and went into the chat, and the whole world opened up from that point. And like I said, the next day, Knives gave me the Gun Channels questionnaire, and that was all she wrote. I was hooked. And it was actually Ghost that will push me into doing these interview shows. Him and G Webs. I had ran it by Ghost first, and Ghost thought it was a great idea because I wasn't so sure at the time. And he said, you know what? I think that it would be great. It's something different. There's nothing out there like it right now. So if that's what you want to do, I think you should. And he has been a tremendous supporter of mine throughout this past year. And Ghost, I do appreciate you, brother. If I have technical questions or anything like that, him and Clover, G Webs, they're the guys I turn to. The logo that you see now, the one that I had before, Ghost come up with both of those, and I love them both. And I actually use another one that he come up with, a wanted poster, as the watercolor on at the end of my chats. So if you ever watch one of the videos and you see that little icon, Ghost actually created that one as well. He does it. It was Ghost, and I think Hottie helped you with them, didn't he?
Yeah, I kind of basically came up with it. The wanted poster. Hottie helped me with some finishing touches on it. Yeah, he did.
Because when I first met you, you were much like me. You were just Ellis Hatfield, and I was Gary Decker at the time. That's
Yep.
before you came up with I can remember when you said, I'm going to change my name. I'm going to be Outlaw Hatfield. And I thought, well, how's that going to work? Well, now I can't think of you any other way. That's just who you are as the Outlaw. And
Yeah, it's sort of weird how that worked. I didn't want to put my real name out there too much, and I didn't want to be associated with my other things. Well, now it is anyway. So see how well that worked. But yeah, it's just the reason I come up with the Outlaw, and it's weird. I figured, my mother's McCoy, my dad was a Hatfield. You know the story if you've listened to this show for any length of time. And on both sides, and Gary can confirm this because he's actually done a little background on me. On both sides of the family, I'm related to the feuding Hatfields and McCoys. Devil Lance was a great, 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 great uncle, and so was Randall McCoy on my mother's side. So I always made the joke that one side didn't like me, and the other side didn't want me. So, sort of an outlaw thing.
So you're a reject, not an outlaw.
Yeah. Well, I'm a bit of both. I'm a bit of both. But yeah, that's how that all come about. Gary, how'd you come up with Gizzard, Gary? I've often wanted to ask you that and never have, I don't think.
I didn't come up with it. That you can blame Midnight Range for that. And that had to do with a story several months ago where I had eaten gizzards at my daughter's one Saturday night, and I come home that night and got really seriously ill. And I made the mistake of telling Midnight about it. And he thought it was hilarious. And so he started calling me Gizzard. He said, we're just going to call you Gizzard from that point on. And I thought, oh, no. And I kind of ignored it. And then other people started calling me Gizzard, too. And I thought, well, I've been looking kind of for an identity. So as a joke, I created an alt on YouTube and created a channel called Gizzard Gary. And well, that kind of stuck. So I decided, what the heck, I'm going to dive into it. So I bought into the whole nickname and everything, and it's kind of become fun over the last few months. From something I just kind of like, I guess I can do this, to now it's just, I don't mind being called Gizzard at all. It's like a nickname that you don't mind. So
Well, I have this habit of throwing out nicknames, so as Clover will attest. If I'm not mistaken, I was the guy that coined the whole tactical leprechaun thing. Speaking of Clover, how are you, sir?
What up?
Not a thing, man. Not a thing. And Clover is another one of these guys that has helped me along. Listening to some of his broadcasts, some of his shows, the technical side of YouTube. Um,
Hey, now that's sexist. Quit talking about broadcasting, okay?
well, God forgive me. No, I'll say 5 Hail Marys in the morning, and I'm not even Catholic. So we'll just take care of that one tomorrow. Um, Speaking of somebody that's got interest outside of the firearm world, Clover, what are some of your interests outside of guns?
Oh man, I don't know. God, I have too many, dude. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
Long walks on
Exactly.
the beach and drinking
No.
margaritas at the sunset.
I can tell you, very
Pipe
little of it
smoking.
is. Very little of it is girly. Yeah, I've got the whole pipe smoking thing.
I hope you have better luck with your pipes than I do my vapes.
Yeah. No, I do. That's actually very enjoyable. Hmm. That's a good one. I like cooking on the smoker, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm into that. What else? I don't know. I like working. Well, yeah, that falls under the whole shooting sports thing, though. Technically,
Yeah, but does a firearm? Do you think it falls under firearms?
well, it doesn't fall under firearms, but I mean, it's right there. I mean, all the same. Archery is more dangerous than firearms.
Oh, definitely.
As far as it's not as deadly. Don't get me wrong with that, but I mean, it's more dangerous, meaning poking an eye out or something like that.
Getting a broke arrow in your arm. I've actually seen that one happen, by the way.
Can you
Well, I
guys
mean, yeah, that's a
imagine
good
how
one.
funny it would be to watch Night Strike shoot archery? Just saying.
God, we do range day. We do range day in Tulsa. I may have to.
There are a lot of things that can go wrong. I mean, heck, if you shoot an overdraw, for example, like I do, and you're not used to it, a lot of people will extend their fingers out, and if you extend your fingers out the wrong way, and you go ahead and pull that trigger, that arrow's going right through your dang finger.
Yeah, and with a firearm, a lot of lack of maintenance with a firearm, and you're going to get malfunctions, and a lot of times it's just going to be like fail to feed, it don't go bang, and it's got to be really really bad for it to be catastrophic. But you don't take care of maintenance on a bow, and that sucker comes apart at full draw, and you're in trouble.
Yep. Something just as basic as waxing the strings. If you don't do that on a regular basis, you're going to have big issues.
Yeah.
So see, I don't know.
Overall dangers that it poses is greater than firearms, but so yeah, I mean, I put it in the same thing, but I mean, for me, it's always been lumped into part of what I've always done. So
I know absolutely nothing about archery. I fooled around with it for a week or so back in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And after a couple of days, I had absolutely turned my left hand and arm into mush from that bow string slapping it.
Mm-hmm.
I decided it was time to give that crap up. It just wasn't for me.
Right.
Come to find out, there's a way to avoid that, but
yeah, it's actually super easy. But well, you already know now, apparently, so you're good.
Yeah. But
talking about string slap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a video on that, but yeah. Yeah, if you get people go, oh, I need an arm guard. I'm like, the only reason you need an arm guard is because you ain't doing it right. Learn how to do it right. Then you don't need an arm guard anymore.
And I tell you what, my whole forearm on the inside there was just bloody red and bruised, and I nope.
Yeah,
I must be doing something wrong. So
and they'll usually come back with competition and Olympic shooters, they have arm guards, and I'm like, yeah, because they're shooting like 90 something freaking arrows. They get tired, and form starts to fall apart when you start talking about shooting that much. So they've got that to help them in the event that their form falters a little bit.
Yeah. But like I said, I don't know a whole lot about bows at all. So
there's a string and there's a, tied to each end of a stick, and
yeah. And then you have to learn how to aim those damn things.
It's sort of like your banjo, except get a switch from out in the yard and put it in your banjo and pull it back, let it go. Kind of the same.
Hey, well, you say that, and I'm sitting here thinking after the day I've had, I'm getting closer and closer to that West Virginia stereotype. So,
I hate to break the bubble, but you've been there for a long time, brother.
Oh, well, thank you, Ghost.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know. You don't have to work so hard because you're already there, bro.
No, I still got most of my teeth.
That's right. Well, then you're ahead of the game then.
You might as well just take them all out now and be done with it and not have to keep worrying about it.
Well, I'd like to keep the ones I got for a little while longer. I'm sure they're going to fall out eventually on their own. So after a while, that sort of thing happens. But
if you strategically take a tooth here or there out, you could be one heck of a corn eater.
Heck yeah.
I have no comment.
You could actually be like a corn on the cob artist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is why I'm doing the reunion show.
Like the scissors, you can buy that cut all the different little jagged shapes and all that. You just pull certain teeth out so that when you eat corn on the cob, it does it in a cute little pattern.
Yeah. Well,
and you can sell those on eBay or 24/7 gun show.
You could literally eat your name like outlaw into corn, and that would be like people would buy that stuff.
I don't think they would. I really don't think they would.
You could also eat watermelon through a picket fence.
I'm gonna jump out. I appreciate the link. I just wanted to jump in for a few minutes, hang out with you guys, but I got to work in the AM, so I appreciate it, man. Y'all take care.
Scotsman, I appreciate you. Thanks for jumping in, brother.
Yep, absolutely. Take it easy, guys.
See you, man.
He's one of the good ones, and the name fits him. He is crazy, 100%. So let me ask you three that's left in here. Have all the links I sent out that nobody seemed to have gotten.
Hey, you hear that? You hear that? You hear
what?
That? The world's tiniest violin.
Yeah. I know. I'm just highly.
I only jumped in because I felt sorry for you.
I'm just highly disappointed. But no, let me ask you.
He didn't send me a link. He just threw it over on Gun Channels. Didn't bother to email it or nothing. And then I was gone. We had to go to town, so I come in. It was like notification. I finally got it 20 minutes late or whatever. It's like Ellis is on. And I'm like, "Where's the link? What the hell?"
Well, you got your link out.
He's the only one that got an email.
I got both your emails. It's easier to send it to Gun Channels because I'm already over there.
Well, if you expect people to come on your show, you might want to diversify the way you send them links. I'm just saying.
Maybe. It ain't like I don't have, like Ghost's phone number. I could just send his straight to his phone. Say, hey, here.
You got mine too.
Yeah.
I think I might be changing my phone number tomorrow.
Frick. So let me ask you guys something. Let's critique my show for a minute. What do you think I could do to improve things? make the show more interesting, better.
You
Other
mean
than
besides
changing
get a better looking host?
yeah, other than getting a new host.
Well, the first question you ask is, what do you want the show or the channel to be?
Well, exactly what it is. Basically, what I started it out to be: the interview show on Monday nights, and then the panel chats about just whatever occurs on Tuesdays.
You're gonna have to hustle interviews, dude.
Yeah,
All I
that's
can say
pretty
is
much
you're
it.
gonna have to.
Well,
You're
I've actually
you're gonna
been.
have to pack it, weeks and weeks deep. I mean, and that's gonna require massive hustle for at least a couple of weeks to give yourself enough cushion to be able to then turn around and sporadically schedule to keep filling in the gaps.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've actually got a few interviews lined up for.
And there's nothing wrong with bringing. I mean, you don't want to have somebody on and then 3 weeks later have them on again. But there's nothing wrong necessarily if somebody's willing to come back on. There's nothing necessarily wrong with 20, 15, 20 guests in or whatever. Bringing somebody else back in. Especially if they've got a new project or something new that they're doing. Bring them. Depending on who you follow and social media or in real life or whatever, if they've got something new coming on they can talk about, fill a gap with the somebody you've already had on, because it'll be a new discussion.
Well, I'm always reaching out to different people trying to get them lined up. The problem is everybody has their own little work schedules and their own life that they have to deal with as well. And I've had a lot of people agree to do shows. It's just getting the scheduling.
Well, and we discussed that. And what you may have to do is you may have to take this from a live show to,
pre-recorded,
to pre-record it, and then come on, talk for a few minutes, play the pre-recorded, cut your pre-recorded down. Just do like a 30-minute or like 30 or 45-minute little thing with them, pre-record it, come in, go 15 minutes or so. That gives people time to get in, right? Do your half-hour interview, play it, and then talk with the live audience about whatever the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's a thought. That is a thought, and I've actually
that means that whoever's committing time for an interview, all they got to do is 30 minutes. They don't have to do an hour. That'll go by quick. You can get a bunch of those in. So,
what you can also do is if you can't even get them to commit to spending 30 minutes with you on that, just send them an email with a bunch of questions. Say, hey, I know you might be busy. I'd like to get an interview with you, but if you don't have time, maybe if you could just answer these questions, and then you come on live saying, hey, I sent some questions to, Yankee Marshall, and Yankee didn't have the time to come on, but he did reply. He answered the questions, and you go question by question and do that, the answering live. So you're still doing an interview. It might not be him on the show, but it's his answers. So there's always ways around the scheduling conflict.
I'll do you one better. That's a great idea.
I know you would.
That is a good idea.
But I'll do it one better, because this is something I was thinking about doing. I didn't mention it earlier, but HMG, who I did the video from NRA with the Sturmgewehr. Remember that? You seen that?
Yep.
Where they're bringing it back. They're doing the rebuild. Anyway, that video had quite a bit of questions and stuff like that on it. So the 22nd, I'm going to bring them on a Firearm Friday. I'm going to bring Tyler from there on a Firearm Friday. And we were talking, and he's not really up to snuff on. He says if the questions get really technical, he doesn't know if he can answer them or not, and he don't know if he can get the actual gunsmith in there. But anyway, he said. So what I told him, I said, well, how about this? And this was you could do this on a regular basis. But I said, what if I do this and this because of that situation? I said, I'll put out a video saying that we're fixing to, on the 22nd, we're going to do this. I said, and if anybody has any questions, they can comment them on that video. I said, and then like a week before you come on the show, I'll copy and paste all those comments and send them to you. That way, if it's any technical stuff that you've got to go to the gunsmith and ask because he can't be there, then at least you'll have answers for those questions. So
And you know, that is brilliant.
So what you could do is you could line out the interview, make a video, and say, "Hey, I'm going to have so and so on. Do you have any questions?" Or, "Hey, I'm going to interview this person. Do you have any questions?" And then, like Ghost said, in the event they can't show up, or whatever, yeah, just read. Go live and read off the questions. Say, so and so had this question. Here's what they said. So and so had this question. Here's what they said. So, and then you've still got viewer input. You've got engagement on both sides of that. You've got engagement on the little video you put out, and you've got engagement through the live stream. So you're double dipping.
I thought that wasn't allowed.
Well, that's only in a fondue pot. But
okay.
Or the bean dip.
Or good guac. I don't want double dipping the guac.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not a expert on guac, but
Tulsa guac. I'm not eating that anyway, so I don't care what you do with it.
No, sir.
What's wrong with Tulsa guac?
Yeah.
You'll have to show up and find out.
Right. He'll be by himself at that place. All I gotta say, because I ain't eating with him.
Let me guess, you found a restaurant that you didn't like.
Unless they have a burger. They may have a burger. They probably make a pretty good burger.
They may.
I would guess.
Yeah. We didn't find a restaurant. We went on the recommendation of P226 Nut, which has officially been banned from making any food recommendations to Gun Channels members.
Right.
And why is that?
Because he sucks at it.
Huh.
Yeah. His taste buds, according to everybody else in the world, is much different.
I'm actually on the YouTube side searching for a comment that Hottie made that I have lost. I cannot find it. So, I'm looking, Hottie. No link here.
Why don't he just post it again? Come on, Hottie.
Oh, he wants a link. Well, I'm going to do him that favor and send him a link.
Hottie.
So if y'all will bear with me for just a second, I will send
I'm not
Hottie
bearing
a
with you.
link.
This amateur hour over here? What do you mean?
Yes, it's amateur hour.
Speaking of Tulsa, Outlaw, that's one thing we need to get you. We need to get you to Tulsa.
I will be there in November.
With bells on?
Well, I don't know if I'll have bells. I certainly won't have a blue dress. I'll tell you that.
It'll be
but
Navy.
I told Night Strike I'd wear a blue dress with him if he showed up and wore one. I got no shame in my game.
Well, see, blue just ain't my color. Maybe a green, velvet.
I can go for a good.
That night he got offered $100. I wouldn't have cared what color it was. I would not have cared. I would have wore a daisy patterned muumuu. Would not have hurt my feelings one bit for $100.
Where's the changing room? Let's go.
Well, I made the comment a few weeks ago that if I ever bought a Glock, I'd wear Night Strike's blue dress. So, and I meant what I said. If any of you guys ever hear of me buying a Glock, I will go to Night Strike's house and I will put on his blue dress and I will wear it on cam. So, but notice the key word there. If I buy being the key word. And Too Hottie emailed you the link.
He gets an email.
He gets an email. He gets an email.
Emails. We get Gun Channels links.
Amateur hour over here, I'm telling you. God.
Hey, Scotty's a special case.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I'm not disagreeing. I will not disagree.
Okay, then.
Did you say special case or basket case?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Or did you say Special K?
No, that's what I need to be eating. A lot of it. What was that old commercial? If you could pinch more than an inch, you need Special K.
You know, I still haven't gotten any of that Special K they were talking about that had the strawberries in it.
That's actually not too bad.
My wife and daughter love that stuff.
Somebody was talking about that. I'm like, I need to get some of that and try that because I really love strawberries. And Special K is just cornflakes, right? If I remember, basically some kind of bran flake type thing.
I always like the Total cereal. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I like that. I instead of I'd sweeten it up with a little bit of honey.
Life cereal, that's good too.
But now, if we're going to get into cereal talk here, it's
the best, we can't turn it into food chat, man.
The best cereal out there has always been and will always be Captain Crunch. Period.
Yeah, maybe if you're, got steel plate, you got steel plate for the roof of your mouth.
Yep, exactly. It'll tear your mouth up.
You're talking about a guy who has missing teeth, so you can only take that for what it's worth.
He's like Lloyd Bridges in the Hot Shot movies, Roof of the mouth is steel plate.
I don't think I've ever watched one of those Hot Shot movies, believe it or not.
Oh, are you serious?
Really?
Dude,
yep.
You gotta go watch. You gotta go watch.
So I have a homework assignment, is what you're saying.
Absolutely, dude. Come on. You can't possibly hang with anybody if you haven't watched the Hot Shot movies, dude. Come on.
Okay, would you say it's as good as like a Mel Brooks movie? Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
So
it's in the same. Yeah, it's in the same genre.
It doesn't quite have the same story flow to it because it's making fun of, you know what I'm saying? It's making fun of other movies, whereas Mel Brooks stuff is. I don't want to say that it. I don't know. It's a little. It's just different. The story. Mel Brooks is a lot of Mel Brooks' stuff. Like it parodies, in a funny way. Whereas, the actual Hot Shots more makes fun of it, I guess, or something. It's know. It's a little different. It's similar though.
But in both cases, you can rewatch those movies. I know I've seen Blazing Saddles countless times. Every time I watch it, I catch something I never caught before.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God!
Mel Brooks is
that's funnier than hell, but I never saw it.
Mel Brooks is a master of hiding jokes within his movies.
Oh yeah.
Spaceballs is the same way. Men in Tights, History of the World. I mean, I love Mel Brooks. I am one of the biggest Mel Brooks fans in the world.
Men in Tights is really up there with my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. And in fact, it was on. I watched it last week.
Freaking hilarious.
Well, if you're interested and if you have IFC on your cable, whatever, History of the World Part 1 is on right now.
Oh, really? That's a hilarious movie.
That is a good movie. And I'll tell you another movie that I like. It's comedy. And had Dudley Moore in it. What the hell was the name of that movie?
Oh, Arthur?
No. The one where he thought he was Moses.
Oh. That's not Holy Moses, was it?
It might have been. But it was an absolute hilarious movie. Is he still alive?
Had to have been. It had to have been Holy Moses. I can't think of another one where he would. No. He died. Dudley Moore died back in the early 2000s or something.
I never knew. He had some pretty good movies out there too. Arthur was pretty good, like Gary was saying, but I always thought that other one was one of the best comedy movies I had ever seen, ranked right up there with the original Caddyshack.
Now, Airplane, I always thought was a funny movie too.
I always like Like Father, Like Son. I thought that was kind of funny when he was playing. He played his son anyway. Hilarious.
And then back during the 80s, there's a lot of those weird comedies.
I love
that are all-
Stripes. I love that movie.
Stripes is one of my top 10 comedies of all time. If you don't like Stripes, you're just un-American. That's just all there is to that. I mean, it's got Bill Murray in it and
Just
John
throw down the
Candy.
gauntlet. Just throw it down.
I did.
And it
John.
was Bill Murray at his peak. I mean, it was
Yeah.
quintessential Bill Murray.
Okay, if you had to pick a Bill Murray movie to say it was your favorite, would it be Groundhog's Day, Stripes, Ghostbusters, or what was the other one? Crap.
I'd probably go Caddyshack, honestly. I thought that was his best role.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally forgot about that, but yeah.
Well, there's
I
one
mean,
nobody.
the movie was what it was, but that's his best role. I thought that was perfect Bill Murray.
There's one nobody mentions, which is What About Bob? If you've ever seen that movie, that's funnier than hell too.
Yeah.
I don't
who
think I've
ca-
ever
who-
seen What About Bob?
Who
Hey,
cares
T-Bone.
Who cares about What About Bob? Special K is here to join the party.
Special K.
How you doing, Hottie?
I don't fucking know. I don't know what y'all mean by that, but whatever.
You still in Montana? It helps when you're in mute.
No, dude, where the hell you been? I've talked to you multiple times since I've been home.
Oh, I thought you was going to stay out there a while. I guess I just wasn't paying attention to you.
Iffy, I was playing it by ear, but after a wedding and after all that shit, it's exhausting. You have 13-hour drive home. You're just like, screw it, I'm gonna get home.
Yeah, I can hear the crickets, so which means you're outside smoking, which is probably safer than vaping at this point.
Either crickets or airplanes.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
I don't think he wasn't here early enough to hear about your vaping accident.
Yeah.
And he'd appreciate that, so you better tell him.
I only saw a little bit of it in the chat, but I heard you lost a tooth because of your vaping.
Yeah.
See that hipster shit'll get to you, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it fucked me up good, and it didn't feel good.
No, them teeth, those are important thingies.
Yeah, well, I'm down another one, so
yeah.
Man, just be careful of the 4 you still have.
You're so funny. I got a few more than that. I still got like 20, 26, 25, somewhere in there.
Piece of beef jerky lasts him all day, let me tell you that.
Right.
Dental is one of the worst things when it comes to insurance. It costs a freaking arm and a leg just to keep on top of shit.
You know, my pet peeve with the whole dental thing is this. You know, there are people that suffer from legitimate genetical medical conditions that cause all types of dental problems, that subsequent problems arise from said dental problems, which affect you medically. But, for the life of me, I do not understand why medical would not kick in to take care of a dental issue that is causing a medical issue.
Hey,
they don't, and it's the most messed up thing I've ever seen in my life.
Nope, I'm totally with you 100%, because a lot of these meds that they like to put people on, what is one of the first or second side effects? Extreme dry mouth, cotton mouth, and stuff like that. And what does that do? It just increases the rate of tooth rot and cavities and gum disease and all that sort of stuff. But then when you turn around to go to actually have that stuff taken care of, oh, you're not covered. So I cannot even tell you how much money just straight out of pocket, out of bank account, has gone to a dentist just to pay for stuff that, I mean, in all reality, should be covered by insurance. It's ridiculous.
Now, they said you run into the wall with a vape in your mouth.
Well, what had happened was I was
Tell the
standing.
truth now, Ellis. Tell the truth.
I'm telling the truth. As stupid as it sounds, I was standing outside and I turned around, and when I had the vape, I was holding the vape in my teeth. When I turned around, I hit the damn wall and pushed the tooth back toward my tongue.
Well, no,
That's what
no offense, but that doesn't sound like a vaping accident. That sounds like a stupidity accident.
Well,
it
it was a
sounds
stupidity accident.
sounds like a user accident because what are you doing holding a vape which has weight to it just with teeth?
Oh, people do that. People do that with tobacco pipes all the time. So
Well, all right, okay. Tobacco pipes are lighter than these battery-powered vapes.
I bet you the one I'm smoking right now is not.
Okay, but you.
I don't know. I've never messed with a vape, so I don't know.
You're not only holding that in your teeth. You're probably using your freaking lips and gums and jaw and everything.
That's true.
You have that thing pinched in between.
Well, that was how you were. That's how you were holding it, wasn't you, Ellis, or was it just your teeth?
Oh no, I was picking something up, and I had it in my hands. I turned around, and when I turned around, walked right into the damn wall.
Fuck.
So there you go.
See, if it had been a cigarette, like a normal individual,
it
would have just crushed the cigarette, and it burns you a little bit, but.
And I wouldn't have.
Just think, it does help. You don't have to buy as many toothpicks now. There is a bright side to this.
And I don't have to worry about flossing those teeth. Right?
It definitely saves on dental floss. Yeah. That's right. You only use 6 inches now instead of 8.
Oh, but I'm gonna tell you something, guys. That shit, it's funny, but it hurt like a sumbitch.
Oh yeah, imagine so.
Well, yeah, and then it's gonna suck from here on out unless you get it replaced when it comes to eating meat or anything
make sure you
like
put
that.
make sure you put that tooth underneath your pillow. That maybe the tooth fairy will show up.
Well, somebody told me the gun fairy might come bring me a gift.
Yeah, Glock.
The Glock,
Yeah, I don't think the gun fairy.
Just one tooth. I'm sorry, just one tooth is more like a Jimenez or something.
Aren't you gonna go see the gun fairy tomorrow with Night Strike's house?
Actually, I'm gonna go shoot some guns at Night Strike's house.
Except he's not gonna smile in his video because he's gonna have a big old fucking gap.
Well, it ain't too bad.
Well, that'll be a change of pace that a target might actually get hit at Night Strike's house. So that's good.
I mean, he has to bring people into his house to hit targets, so that's how bad it is.
Well, Coy's actually supposed to be there, and I'm not sure who else might show up. So,
well, when Night Strike has to call people, it's like, damn, I got this tannerite. It's got a shelf life of like 7 years, so I need for you guys to come down and shoot it so it'll actually blow up.
Right. I'm like a week away from expiration.
I don't think there's going to be any tannerite tomorrow.
Well, I don't think it really matters. He's not going to hit it anyways.
I'm going to go to Walmart, I think, and pick up some targets, but I don't think there's going to be any tannerite.
Well, then even if it doesn't go boom, his excuse is going to be, hey, he's going to go poke a fucking stick through it. Be like, look, I hit it. It was just so close to the expiration date that it didn't go off. Even though that shit is probably just like canned food and expiration date's just a fucking suggestion.
Now, has Night Strike ever received his CCW permit?
Not as of yet.
Not last time I checked.
I wonder if he starts to understand that maybe they denied his ass getting a CCW.
Why would they do that? They
can deny it.
I hope
shall issue
not.
state.
I hope not, but yeah.
He would.
Really, you want his ass out there with a gun in his pocket shooting people? He's liable to shoot all the innocent bystanders first.
The odds of him having to use it are slim. So,
and I'm not going to talk bad about him. He already thinks I talk enough crap about him.
That's the saving grace when I see people that I don't think should be carrying or whatever. That's the saving grace that I always think about is, well, at least the odds are astronomically low they'll ever have to.
I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to take the 12 gauge tomorrow or not. Fire a few rounds through it. I'm taking both the ARs, taking the 1911.
And I'll tell you, talking about that, and this is, just talking in general, not talking about Night Strike, because I know people that are far worse than him, far, far, far worse than him. But they go and they get their license or whatever, and there ain't a doubt in my mind they're not going to have what it takes to even pull the gun and fire when something goes down. I know they're not.
The problem is you don't know until you're in that actual situation, and I cannot. I mean, I couldn't look at anybody. I mean, I couldn't. I've talked to Night Strike for years, and I couldn't.
Well, Night Strike, I don't know, but I'm
Uh,
telling you, some of these other people, I do know, and there ain't no way.
right, but at the same time, I don't know, man. You do. I've been it, when it comes to my personal past. I've been in the fight or flight situations where the people who you thought would stand up and stand their ground and fight for their friends were the first ones to fucking run. And then you have the ones who are in between, who have a heart and are fighters and lovers of friends, lovers of fucking whatever. And it's just like I can't leave my fucking man behind laying on the fucking dirt. I'm gonna I'm gonna fight this thing out until it's over or until the death. You know, that's I being someone who's been in that situation. You don't just from just and this is only my opinion. You cannot just judge someone based on what you know of them or what you think of them and all that based. You cannot base that and say that they're not going to have what it takes when the time comes. People will surprise you both ways.
Yeah, maybe. I read people pretty well though, so I mean, not obviously
Or
not obviously online. Somebody that I've actually talked to in person for a few hours and that's it. Obviously not, but people that I've been around my entire life and especially for weeks on end and dealt with and whatnot. Yeah, I'm pretty good. I can read people pretty well.
that's different, but then it also comes down to, I mean, situational. Are Do they have kids with them? Do they have their own kids with them? And you've heard the whole
Well, I think
mama
they'd
bear.
be getting. I think they'd be working on trying to get their kids out of Dodge at that point. So
Okay, but if you heard the whole mama bear thing, and I mean, I don't know, man.
yeah,
I think Hottie hit the nail on the head. You don't know what you're going to do in any given situation until you're actually in that situation. I would like to think if I was in that kind of a situation, I would man up and do what's right. Whatever that would call for. But like I said, I've never been in the situation, and hope to God I never have to be. And I'm sure everybody on this panel right now would say the same thing. They don't ever want to be in that situation to find out.
and like I
Right.
said, odds are you're not going to be. So that's it's the same way as people that micro focus on whatever it might be, school shootings or any other anomaly. People tend to focus on the whole having to pull and shoot in a defensive situation. And I'm not talking about a defensive situation because that happens fairly regularly. I'm talking about actually having to pull the trigger. Is
Having the
it's
fire
it's, it's
shot.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
low.
What are the numbers of actual shootings like that in the United States?
Well, I could tell you, but
There's 33,000 total shootings in the U.S. a year, and there's over two
Yeah, but I'm talking
million.
about defensive
no,
shootings,
he's
not
talking about justified. You
just.
talking about you talking about
I'm throwing out the basic numbers that
yeah.
everybody's going to. You have your 33,000, and then you have your million that are a million to 2 million or 750,000 or whatever. they're actually documented, and then you have to double that because if the situation was diffused and nothing happened, blah blah blah, a lot of people aren't going to call the cops.
Well, yeah, but Ellis is asking about having to pull the trigger. Are you not, Ellis?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a totally different set of numbers.
I misunderstood the premise of the question then.
And to answer your question, about 400.
Yeah, that's what I figured. I figured it was an extremely low number. Actually, I thought it was lower than that.
Yeah, it's about 400. It's a little bit higher number, but the higher number is actually, and let me rephrase that: 400. That's homicides. That's somebody pulled the trigger and they took a life in self-defense. That's what that is. It's about 400 average since about 2005 or so. Anyway,
whether it be justified or not,
that is justified. That's justified homicides, not police. Okay. Police are outside of that. That's civilian justified homicides in the continental U, or not continental U.S., but in the U.S. Alaska and Hawaii is included too. Yeah, it's about 400. Like I said, it's about 500, 550 maybe. And some of them used an eye for a, you know what I'm saying, or a hammer or a brick or whatever was, I guess, was laying around. Baseball bat, whatever they needed, I guess, to defend themselves with. But about 400 of those are.
I would have guessed that number was somewhere between 150 and 250. Yeah. I didn't figure it was as high as 400.
Well, if you look at, that is high in a way, but if you look at the number of times a firearm is used, I mean, just pulling, you hate to use the word brandishing, but pulling, brandishing, whatever, to subvert, and you compare it to those numbers which is absolutely right. Minimum, they're in the hundreds of thousands. So
they're
that's a very it's probably over that. Yeah, it's probably over $1 million realistically because nobody reports a crime that doesn't happen. So I'm just saying the ones that we know of. So let's not inflate numbers because the left likes to do that all the time. So I don't like to do that. The base minimum numbers are astonishing enough. So let's just take those. And 400 out of, let's say, 700,000, that's not, so the odds of you having to pull the trigger are very, very slim.
It's not a huge margin there at all, is it?
Not at all.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people get into the whole, don't carry a revolver because you need 17 rounds and I need 30 rounds. I'm going to carry as many rounds as I can carry. And, you break everything down. 98% of those, that 400 was one attacker. And the average shots fired were 2. So magazine capacity, honestly, means crap when you look at realistic numbers.
And the distance of engagement was, what, 2 feet to 5 yards tops?
Yes, it's less than 10 feet. Average, less than 10.
It's amazing how the left takes those numbers and just spins them into.
So then that's another thing about having night sights and we talked about the whole point and shoot thing before. And there's people that say, well, you got to have training, and Ghost can jump in here too because I know this is a lot of his forte, but. It's like you got to have a lot of training, and I don't disagree with training. I mean, heck, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like the people that want to exercise and go lift weights, 3 times a week instead of 2 or 1. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. Go do it. I mean, it's going to benefit you. Yeah. But when something happens in less than 10 feet, my goodness, there's not a lot of time to do nothing. There's not a lot of time to aim. So having cool night sights and all this other stuff, and that you're gonna do good to get it out. You're gonna do good to get it out and get it up.
You're not even going to see your sights. That shit happens so quick.
If you're taking, this is gonna be honest with you. If you're in a firefight and you're 10 feet away, let's say 8 feet. I think the average number is like 8 feet away.
It's less than
If you're
10, yeah.
8 feet away and it's probably, let's say, nighttime, and you're worried about getting a good sight picture, you're probably already dead. Let's be honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just comes down to knowing your weapon.
Yeah.
That's the whole point about being proficient with your firearm is you should. This sounds bad, but you should be able to put a blindfold on, and at 8 feet away,
Get
put
a
a
silhouette.
blindfold on, pull your gun, get it to the ready position, pull a trigger, and hit a silhouette target from 8 feet away with a blindfold on. If you can't, then you need to
8
practice.
feet? 8 feet? Yeah, I can I can back that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, as someone I've fallen off on my dry practice, but you know, I used to dry practice and draw that weapon with my eyes closed and line it up and then open up my eyes and make sure that my actual sights were lined up. So I'm coming to the same fucking spot every time.
Yep.
And
And if you don't, you change your grip. And if you change your grip and you still can't do it, you get rid of that gun, whether you love it or not, and get you something that points better.
That's right.
Or
that's right.
or you
That's where the whole argument about, oh, you don't need to carry this gun and you don't need to carry that gun, and why do you carry this and why do you carry that?
okay.
Well, you know what? You want to carry something that's going to naturally point for you. Period.
All right, Clover. Well, I have a question for you. When it comes to that, I guess sights aren't going to matter when it comes to eyes closed. But what if you swap them sights out to something that's easier to pick up and easier for you to line up, so that
You're not going to have time, Scotty.
I do completely understand, because that's the whole premise of what I was talking about with drawing with the eyes closed and then still having them sights lined up. But
And let me rephrase this. All of this discussion we're having is an odds are discussion. Okay, there's always the potential for something way outside the realm of the odds, right? That's like the people that say, again, I quoted the stat, but that's the people that say, oh, well, I carry 17 rounds and I got 2 extra magazines. And you're like, what the crap for? And they're like, well, you never know. I may be at the mall and 6 gunmen come in with AKs. Well, first of all, if you're going to try to take down 6 gunmen with AKs with a Glock and 3 freaking 17-round mags, you're an idiot. That's first of all, because I'm getting the heck out of there. The second thing is, like I said, 98% is one attacker, one. So you've got a 2% chance out of the very, very small chance of the thing happening in the first place, only a 2% of that very small chance that it's going to be over one attacker anyway. So you're carrying extra mags around for some unreasonable number. That's the same as if it makes you feel better for your kid to go to school wearing body armor or have a plate in their backpack or whatever. More power to you. Go do it. Whatever. I think it's unreasonable because those are anomalies. They don't happen all the time. It doesn't warrant, some big, huge response.
And I'll add on to that when you're talking about night sights. Probably the only way that you should ever have to worry about using night sights is if you're in your home and you have an intruder.
Yeah.
If you're out in public and you have time to sight in someone, if you're having to use your sights, which means they're probably more than 20 feet away, and you're having to actually sight in, then it's going to be very difficult to prove in a court of law that you didn't have time or this time or space to run. You probably didn't need to use deadly force. If you've got time to sit there, make sure your grip's right, make sure your aim point's right, you pick a good sight picture up, and you've got a good aim, you're probably not going to be able to prove that you didn't have time or room to flee.
Well, I guess that depends. Once again, that's situational dependent, and
it depends on the scenario because
exactly because
it's like the scenario that Ghost ran when you ran the simulator, your video with the simulator. That guy stood there for, it was seconds, but it what seemed like forever, I'm sure. And you had time to sight him in because it was enough time. But then he came after you. So I mean, if that's a situation that happened outside of your home,
and you're not always.
I guess I guess my question for Ghost is: take that scenario you went through. If that happened in a parking lot, what would it have ended any differently?
Let me first say this: is I didn't use my sights in that scenario. Um, it sounds crazy, but once again, if I'm 10 feet away from this guy, 15 feet away, 20 feet at the max, okay. If I'm 10 to 15, 20 feet away from this guy, and I'm worried about my sights, first of all, I'm focusing on the wrong thing. I'm not focusing on what the intruder is doing. So you're not going to be able to explain what the intruder is doing is if you're focusing on your sights. And that's just the reality of it. So once again, it comes down to being proficient enough at close quarters, which is inside 20 feet, right? Actually, 18 feet, I think is what they call close quarters. Inside 18 feet, that you're proficient enough to squeeze off a round without having to sit there and sight in. Now, to answer your question, if it was in a parking lot, would have ended the same way? Probably not. If he didn't have a gun, then there's no reason for me to shoot him because I can go somewhere. He's not intruding my house. He's not endangering the life of me or my family in my house. It's a parking lot. It sounds bad, but I have no problem to sit there and say I'd flee if I could get away from it. I would. I would not pull a trigger unless I felt like I absolutely had to. Now, if I have to, hell yeah, I'll pull a trigger any day.
All
But
right,
I'm also going to sit there and understand that it's going to be hard for me to justify in the court of law what's more important, me being a big man and trying to shoot somebody or going away to prison for the next 30 years of my life and missing my daughter's life. I'm not doing that. That's just me, though.
you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Got some weird sparkling noises going on, but yeah.
I was
Sounds
just,
like
I
cricket.
was just gonna say when it comes to the, if you're that far away, I mean, you probably shouldn't take the shot. Like I was getting ready to say, it is situationally dependent because what if he is in the vicinity of somebody who he's getting ready to fucking harm? So then that flips the table 100%. And maybe you do take the time to line up, and maybe you do take the time to take a carefully placed shot, or close distance and do that because I for one, I mean, stranger or not, but I I'm not gonna I can't I don't have it in me to stand back and watch somebody get fucking murdered, get sliced up if I'm able or in a position where I'm able to fucking do something to help.
Yeah,
Well, but it's a
it's
situational thing. If there's a guy, we're talking about the situation I was in the simulator. The guy was in my house with a hammer. Now you take the same situation where the guy's with a hammer is in a parking lot. Are you justified taking that shot?
No, dude, I
Just
do
saying.
hear. I was going back to the conversation that we were having before that, and I tried to jump in and throw that little tidbit in there.
Yeah, no,
But
I hear you, and you're right. It is situational. I got a question for you guys. Run through the room. When you guys are practicing at the range, and if you guys do practice at the range for self-defense shooting, I do it a lot. But if you do practice it, what should be your two aim points that you practice the most with?
what do you mean aim points?
Aim points on the body. Where the 2 points that you should probably focus on being able to pick up and try to shoot on an
Head,
intruder?
center
to
mass and a
me,
head.
to me, head and center mass.
Negative.
Okay.
Shoot top of the sternum and the groin. You shoot ahead. You shoot at the head. That's a very, very small target, and it obviously moves. You can move your head very, very quickly. You move the top of like the chest and the groin. The groin especially. It sounds bad, but you can move your upper body a lot of different ways, but your hips don't move a whole lot. Those hips are staying pretty much where your feet are. So unless you're able to move your feet quickly, your groin and your hip area is not going very far. It sounds bad, but that is probably the most immobile part of your body is your middle section.
Are you saying them hips don't lie? Is that what you're saying?
Them hips don't lie.
Well, a lot of people want to aim for like the heart. You know what I'm saying? The heart area, uh,
Yeah, and that's a good spot.
center left chest or something.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, if you've got somebody that tweaks or turns or something on you, just right, and it's a miss at that point, or you possibly get them in an arm. But if you go for a center, then you've got, if you're going center, you've got the potential of knocking out that spine too.
That's right. And the
They
center
ain't
mass
going nowhere. They drop. You get the spine. You get the spine. It's over.
Yeah, the center mass is a great shot, but that head, first of all, you better be a really good shot to aim at the head.
So you're kind of saying what Clint Smith says: start at the pelvis and work your way up.
Shoot them in the
No,
nuts.
I will actually say work your way down.
All right.
Your first shot should be center mass.
I've heard Clint Smith say start at the pelvis and work your way up because that's the way recoil is good. That's the way recoil is going to take your gun, anyways.
You can.
So,
I mean, it's no right or wrong.
So you are going to be faster doing that.
Recoil of a gun though is subjective too. My 42,
I mean, if you've got a weak grip, then yeah.
There's no recoil to ride on my 42. I mean,
another thing to keep in mind is they may be wearing body armor, and center mass isn't going to do a lot of damage in that case. But the shot.
Have you ever worn body armor? Have you ever been shot with body armor on?
Well, I know it's going to hurt, but it may not. It'll kill them, but they aren't going to be wearing body armor over their groin.
They probably still leave. I promise you that. They probably say, you know what, fuck this, it ain't worth it.
If they ain't on the ground crying.
Right.
I've never been hit with body armor, but I know plenty of people that have gotten shot with body armor, and plate and everything. I'm not talking about just Kevlar. I'm talking about plate and all kinds of ceramic and other stuff. And they're like, dude, it's no fun at all. You know, it's worse. They say it's worse than the equivalent of getting hit bare chested with a beanbag round. They said it's actually worse than that.
How many people, when they practice, obviously practice with shooting with their weak hand only, drawing from their strong side with their weak hand? And it sounds bad, and hope to God never to do any of this. But you also have to understand the possibility is what if you're injured? You know, your strong hand's already injured, your strong arm's already injured, broken, or it's been shot or whatever. Very few people work on practicing with weak hand because that is a crucial part of self-defense shooting.
For a lot of people, depending on where they holster at, getting to it, regardless, because of the dexterity they have. I know for me, going around my back is the easiest way because of where I carry. You know what I mean? Going around my back and trying to get it is going to be the easiest way.
That's kind of the same here. Just from the little bit of practice I've done, if my right arm's out of commission, I can get to it with my left. And like you just said, I think it is easiest for me to come around the back.
I know a lot of people, it sounds weird, I don't like it, but I know a lot of people that actually use a cross draw holster. They use a right-handed, if they're right-handed, they use a right-handed holster, but they wear it on the left. One, they can cross draw, but if they had to use their weak hand, it's easier that way. I don't personally like it, but I do know a lot of people that do a cross draw carry.
Well, and with that, you get back into look at the odds, just the base odds, and look at the odds of you having to do that and being injured. So, you know, it's like you said. It's like you said, Ghost, with the, you know, you're going to calculate. You know, do I risk? You know, what's the risk here? Do I risk a bad shooting, going to prison? Blah blah blah. I'm the same way. I'm going to calculate odds of am I ever realistically going to be in that situation? You know, and if I am, you know, if I'm wrong and I'm presented with a situation to where there's 3 attackers and I only have 8 rounds, well, be 9 rounds, I guess, and I'm shot in the strong arm or my strong arm is injured, it was just my time to go, Jack. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, it's odd that you should bring up the cross draw carry because that is exactly the way I intend to be carrying that M&P shield when I get it, is a cross draw.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that I believe the person running this chat is getting ready to get a cross draw set up for something.
Yep. Well, I work around a lot of water, and it's mostly hitting me on my right-hand side because I'm right-handed. and my left side is normally dry when I get off work, or drier, I should say. And I think that would be the most convenient way to carry that handgun at work and keep it hidden, because it's going to be under my shirt and under an apron. So,
Yeah. See, I don't like the cross draw because I don't like the movement. I don't think the movement associated with a cross draw is efficient. I think if you've got somebody particularly coming at you, that swinging arm motion, the elbow is gonna be in a weird position, and then it has to come all the way back or rotate all the way back around your body. I just don't. That pull from the side, in tight with the body. You've got no elbows sticking out. Nothing. I mean, it's just I don't know. It's just a smoother
Well, and you
movement.
also have to consider also, unless you're extremely proficient with that draw, when you go cross draw, you're flagging potentially many people before you get that gun into
Well,
position.
and another thing is you're making such exaggerated movement that way, I think, that you're drawing attention as well. What if they haven't identified you yet or spotted you, and
Yeah.
then you've got all this, instead of just lifting it up from the side, coming up tight to your body, you know, and your body is kind of silhouetted your movement in a way where that
Yeah.
elbow is going to swing out when you go to cross draw. You're going
And
to
see,
see shoulder.
that's
You're
why
going
I
to see
don't.
shoulder and elbow movement when you go to do
Yeah.
that.
And that's why I don't like, and I have nothing against people that do it, but I do not. I mean, for me, I don't appendix carry. I don't understand that
Me neither.
because you're putting yourself in a weird position from so many tactical reasons why. But safety wise, also, is we don't know if we have to draw in that situation. We all want to think that we're going to have good trigger discipline. We all want to think that our finger's going to be out of that trigger well. But we don't know until that happens. We're all nervous and we're freaking out. What if that trigger finger slips? There are so many things that can go wrong with that.
Did you guys
Yeah.
see the latest video of the appendix carrying guy?
No,
I haven't, no.
I seen the dancing FBI agent one though.
All right, I just saw one today where I don't know what kind of business this was, but and I didn't even turn. Actually, no, I did hear the audio. But he goes and holsters his weapon, looked to be a Glock appendix, and then he looks it down into the holster, but to me it kind of looked like he had a little shirt cut up in there, and then he immediately walks over to bend over and pick up a box, and kabam, and oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, and then
Yeah.
someone else is saying, call 911 and blah 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 blah, and
Well, and that's why again you talk about playing the odds. You look at statistically, you look at it with appendix carry. What are the odds? The odds are pretty slim. You're going to have a problem. You're going to go for it. I think we all are pretty much going to agree of the odds of it going off, whether it's trigger discipline or malfunction or whatever it might be, are fairly slim. The odds of getting put in a situation, to where that's exaggerated are pretty slim. The statistic or the odd that I'm looking at most is you hit that artery, you're gone. It's over. It's game over. I mean, if you're like in the emergency room, waiting room when you do it, then
I
maybe.
think they said it could take sometimes like 7 seconds or something like that to bleed out.
Yeah, unless you're literally in the hospital parking lot, maybe. But outside of that, and I'm talking about emergency room parking lot, some place where they can rush you in. The doctor's office probably couldn't do nothing. It's going to have to be an ER or something. Maybe. But outside of that, it's over. It's 100%. So
I'd go farther than that and say unless you had an actual doctor standing next to you when you actually did it, who could put
they would have to have
a
equipment. It would not just be. That's what I'm saying. It couldn't even happen with a doctor standing there, or even if you was in a doctor's office. You would literally have to be at some kind of a trauma care place when you did it. There would have to be medical professionals there with the tools and the equipment, capable to try to deal with it. And they probably could, but outside of that, you don't have time to drive a couple of blocks or wait on an ambulance, or that's totally out of the question.
No, you're walking dead at that point in time.
And I don't think quick clot on something like that. I don't know, but I wouldn't think that, the odds of something like quick clot or something working on a major artery like that, is going to be fairly slim, I think.
I'll tell you what I'm excited. I know that you're just saying, Ellis was saying he's getting his shield coming in. I'm really excited. I finally found a good inside the waist holster for my PX4 Storm, and it should be here sometime this week. So I'll get to carry that a little bit. I'm excited about that.
What'd you get?
Oh crap! What's it? I know you're gonna ask me that. Let me find a company. It shipped out today.
Filster, I hope.
It is from. Oh crap! I know you're gonna ask me that.
Well, it's no big deal, dude.
Hold on here. Raw dog, something like that.
Raw dog concealment or something.
Raw dog.
Yes, because Raw Dog is an actual holster
tactical.
company.
Something like that sounds halfway familiar.
Yeah,
It
Raw
is.
Dog Tactical.
Cool.
Raw dog tactical.
Yeah, I'm getting a Dara holster. Have any of y'all heard of those?
A what?
Who?
Dara, D-A-R-A.
No.
No. There's so many out there, though.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just finally found a good inside the waist Kydex for this. There's a bunch of them for the Storm, but not the subcompact. So it's been interesting trying to find one.
Yeah.
It goes if you're looking for another one. I'm not sure what Filster makes for the model you're looking for, but look up Filster. PHLSTER.
Yeah, I will. I'll check that out tomorrow for sure.
Oh, I just put the link out in the side chat for you guys if you want to check them out too.
Gracias, appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I got asked about holsters the other day, and I pretty much said that I just told them, I'm like, look, I can tell you what holsters I got, but they was wanting to know what I got and the best ones and why I chose the ones I got. I'm like, look, I'm not a holster snob. I'm not going to go out and spend $50 to $100 and then get it and go, oh, I don't like this, and then I can't do that. I can't spend that kind of money. I'm like, so, I do a little homework. I kind of look at reviews on one, find, that fits the best, whatever, get it and wear it. How I go with it. So
I kind of do the same thing, but when it comes to the amount of just firearms that you have, I mean, every gun guy's got that freaking box of holsters.
I've got a cabinet full of them probably.
Yeah, I'm not saying moving box. I mean, some people's could be a shoebox. Some people's could be a drawer.
I probably got my holsters would probably fit. One of those file box, like a legal file box that you put together yourself. My holsters are probably fit in one of those.
Yeah.
But
I see. I'm a big fan of Phobos. Phobos, you can get nice holsters for $25. Some Black Hawk you can get for $25, and
and a lot of people
$70 on a leather holster. I like Kydex personally, so.
And I know there's people out there that don't like alien gear, but and when I'm in Tulsa next, I will have Bullseye make me one for my my Taurus. But alien gear is the only one that has it for that poly. So, or at the time, I should say. There may be more now. But at the time that I was looking for a holster for my Protector poly, alien gear is the only one that had them.
And see, that's the thing that I came into with, with the Storm is there's just not too many of them out there for the subcompact,
Well, see, yeah,
you can't really be picky.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And I actually have a Phobos for a Taurus Model 85. Well, Because they say that the protector poly will work. Well, the strap, the top strap and all on the protector poly is considerably wider than it is than the 85. So it obviously it don't fit. And a lot of them out there, you got to be really careful if you got a protector poly and you're looking for a holster, because a lot of the companies out there will say it'll fit. Oh, it fits the Model 85 and poly variants, and no, it don't. You know, so be careful with that because that top strap is wider.
Hey
That
guys,
that's
if my background noise is bothering you, let me know.
No, I don't hear anything.
No, I ain't noticed it. I heard the
Sounds
crickets.
like
but
he's sounds like
crickets
he's
don't bother me.
sounds like he's bricking something,
Chopping up carne
Like it's
asada.
cooked.
scraping mortar and putting it on bricks. What it sounds like.
Just chopping carne asada.
You know, that's the good thing. Like, you know, Hatfield, he's going with a shield. I mean, you start talking about shield, you start talking about LCPs, you start talking about Glocks. You know, there's literally thousands of holster companies that will have all those. You start getting into guns that may not
Like
be
the
as
SAR?
mainstream. That's where, you know, well,
Like
you know, but you're talking about specific models of a Taurus, you know, but you talk about a shield. I mean, there's literally thousands of companies you can
Have
find for
you
less than $40.
have you found anything for the SAR yet?
Negative. I have not found anything for the SAR.
Just bring
That
it
universal.
to
I
Wanamaker
am.
with you next
Yep,
time.
I am.
It make you
Exactly.
one right there. Be done with it.
Exactly.
you know what?
Um,
If and when I make it out there, and I got plans to be in there, I'm buying the tickets here real shortly. Before I fly out. So I might take the SAR with me and see if they can make me one.
Hey Ghost, shoot me a message on gun channels, and when I go do TriggerCon coming up at the end of July, if there's any
mhm.
holster companies there, I'll keep an eye out.
I will. Yeah, sure will.
Just
Because
just as another option for you, you know.
see, I'm like Ghost. I like Kydex holsters. I'm not a fan of leather. Mainly because leather holds water, and I'm constantly around water. Either I'm fishing or at work or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And
to me,
even if you're sweating a lot, man, if it's
yeah,
hot and you're sweating a lot, yeah. Yeah, leather's nasty. Now if it's cool, leather is one of those, because I like the looks of a good leather holster, don't get me wrong. But leather is one of those open carry on a cool day holsters. You know, like I'm going to church, or, I'm just going to town to do my Sunday grocery shopping or something. You know what I mean? Type open carry holsters. That's my opinion on leather.
well, right now what I'm using for that SAR is just this cheap Uncle Mike's thing. It works,
Right.
Yeah.
but I wouldn't call it the most secure thing in the world.
Yeah, I own one leather, and I think it's a DeSantis, and it's for my Glock, and I like it, but you know, it's like you said, it's more for like an open carry. Now, I'll tell you that this Red Dog Tactical that's coming for my Beretta is a hybrid. It's a Kydex shell with the back plate is leather that would go in, you know, against your body.
Yeah.
I've never
So I'm
I've
interested in
never
that.
I've
Yeah.
never tried a hybrid.
That's the way my alien gear is. I really like it. I really like how tight it fits to the body.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting it. I haven't had one of those yet, so I'm really looking forward to that.
And
But
the
Colter,
leather, it's just, I don't know. It's just, yeah. What?
I was just gonna ask, being in Texas, I mean, doesn't that bug you? Isn't that just a fucking sweaty spot for you?
That's not, I don't, that's not inside the waistband. Mine's outside the waistband.
Oh, and it's still a hybrid kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, now,
Yeah.
Clover, do you prefer to carry inside or outside the waistband?
Outside.
So do I.
Hands down. Outside.
I'm not an inside the waistband guy. That's just
There's
never has
less,
been me.
to fumble with when I'm drawing. I'm in a state that, with my license, I could open carry if I wanted. So I don't got to worry about brandishing or shirt riding up or anything anyway. So, um, and I carry, honestly, I mean, I I'll tuck a shirt in and open carry a lot of times. I mean, I told Ghost, I think the other day, I finally, in my cleaning up out here and trying to get things organized and everything else, I found my level 2 holster for my Glock, my level 2 paddle holster, which is obviously it's outside. And man, I love that thing, and I couldn't find it, and found it in a cabinet or a box or whatever out here, and actually wore it the other day to the range and around town after I was done at the range. Yeah, just straight up open carry.
Yeah, that's me.
Now, occasionally, I've got to conceal, and if I'm if I'm in a situation where I absolutely have to conceal, I have it's actually an appendix holster, the Kydex, but it's actually an appendix holster, but it's a left-hand appendix holster that I wear small of my back. So
that's not a bad idea.
I wear it if like deep conceal, if I really got to make sure that nothing's showing, that's what I'll wear. Or an ankle holster. But I don't particularly like an ankle holster because if you're standing, you're kind of screwed. I mean, if it's a restaurant environment or some church or someplace where you were sitting down, wouldn't be so bad. Or the movie theater even. Someplace where you were sitting down, it wouldn't be so bad. An ankle holster wouldn't. But if it's a situation where you get caught standing up, you're gonna have to go find some cover for a second. There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, guys, we've been going about an hour and 43 minutes, and I'm about to shut her down. I'm not sure if G-Webs is going to be on tonight with the Daily Gun Show or not, is it? Has anybody heard?
I talked to him earlier in the day, and he didn't mention anything about it.
I didn't get a. Well, he's been running slim on hosts, so.
Speaking of which, I've got tomorrow night on my show, I've got a really cool announcement for Gun Channels members that has to do with Drill of the Month, but for Gun Channel members only. So it's going to be kind of a cool thing. Gene, I've been working on it today, so it's going to be kind of cool.
Oh, can't wait to see that. Well, guys, I'm going to run it through the panel. If you all got anything to plug, let's get it done. We'll start with Too Hotty. You got anything to plug, brother?
Oh, I got much. Gunchannels.com. Anybody listening to your show's heard it a million times before, but maybe 1,000,001 is what it takes for them to go over there and check it out. I know that's how things worked out with me. Other than that, you can check me out on Instagram, 2hotty206. Creeping up on that 1,000 follower mark, and I'd love to hit it.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of your posts on Instagram, especially over the past week. Had a very nice lady on there I was admiring. Anyway, Gary, what you got, buddy?
Well, not a whole lot. Thanks for the invite. Congratulations on your show career so far. May it flourish and get even bigger and better. I'm Gizzard Gary on YouTube and all the social media, and my website is gizzardgary.com. Join gunchannels.com and check out guntube.org.
Ghostman.
Plug. I'll plug the ATF comment period ends in about 3 weeks. So make sure that your comment is submitted and heard on the bump stock, but it's not necessarily a bump stock. They're talking rate of fire change and all that stuff. So make sure you get the ATF comments and do that. And congratulations to Clover on 1,500 subs.
Congratulations to Clover indeed.
Absolutely.
Clover, what's you got going on, brother?
Well, first, thank you. Yeah, two things that are not related to me, I guess. 247gunshow.com. I haven't got anything posted there yet, but I will. So it's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat, and especially since I'm cleaning and going through things here. So hopefully I can have some knick-knack paddywhack stuff throwed up for too long. And then Yankees, whatever, TYMP pistol project. So, be on the lookout for, local people or something even that maybe can't afford a gun and turn them on to that. Go to his channel and find out all that good stuff, of course. As for me, I will throw out, I actually did pick up an AC unit at Walmart earlier. So hopefully I get that put in tomorrow and can be well on the way to produce content again. Produce content in the building anyway. And then the first thing that I'm going to do is to lay out all of the prizes for the giveaway, and we'll do that Friday. We'll do that on Firearm Friday. So be looking for the produced video between now and then on what you need to do to win some cool stuff.
Well, I would love to be there for that. Unfortunately, work calls.
Well, you don't have to be there to win.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. I've still got 18 viewers, and we've been going for, like I said, 2 hours. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like everybody else has said, remember to hit up gun channels. Tomorrow night, I have my 6 o'clock show that I will be doing. It might not last as long as it normally does. And I might not have a guest at all. In fact, I might be doing the show from Night Strike's place, so we'll see how that all works out. But there will be a show for some length of time tomorrow at 6. Let's see. Tomorrow night is also Tactical Tuesday show. That's what, 8 o'clock, Ghost?
8 Eastern, yes, 7 Central.
Yep. Okay, so there's that. And Hit or Miss Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. Don't forget Hit or Miss. And like always, the Daily Gun Show with G-Webs. Don't miss that. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.
Shall not be infringed.